It's getting kind of late in the season here in Minnesota to do any more HF operating from out on the deck here, which I did over the summer once in a while, and that's a lot of fun being outdoors operating. I didn't have to set up any external antennas. I was able to use the antennas I already have on the tower and on the house. And I'll show you how I was able to do that just using coax switches and running coax lines to different areas around the house, including the garage and the patio or deck area here. So let's take a look, and this is a good tip for new hams maybe if this is something you might be interested in, and hams that have been around a while also. If you're thinking of setting up another operating position somewhere around the house or garage, take a look at this. I'll show you what I did. These are some of my outdoor antennas, and the director element is still missing on that tri-band beam due to a storm in the past. Also some dipoles off the tower there you can see. So my outdoor HF antennas are routed through a remote coax switch at the base of the tower with the selector in the shack here. The selected HF antenna comes to this other coax switch in the shack, and that will determine which radio I want the antenna to be connected to. And some of these cables do go to other areas of the house and not just the shack. So with the coax switching system, I can route my signals to HF radios in the shack or down on my workbench downstairs. Or in the summertime, I like to have an operating position out in the garage on a desk. Also during the summer, I like doing some operating from out here on the deck. You may have noticed that I have this older Kenwood HF rig that I use to move into the different operating positions. So you can use an antenna switch to select either one antenna to two different radios and select which radio connects to that antenna, or you can do the opposite and you can select one of two antennas with this 2-port switch to one radio. Now this is a 2-position switch. They're available with more ports on them if you need. You can also connect one switch to another switch if you want to have some other choices in your signal path. So as an example here, if you have more than one antenna, you can connect them to a switch box, which in turn, connected to another switch box in the opposite fashion, can route the signal path to different radios. And these don't all have to be right in the shack. You can run cables to other locations throughout your house if you want. And that's what I do. So as an example for out on the deck here, I ran a coax from a switch in the shack to this outdoor weather protection box that I found in the electrical section at my local supply store. And from here I can just open it up and make a connection with a 10-foot jumper that I use to run across to the deck to my HF rig set up on a table out here. So I make my antenna connection to the radio, and for power I have a power supply that's just inside the house, and I have a short jumper for power that runs just outside to the deck here, and I have that protected from the weather. And I use the Anderson power poles, is what I like to use. So I snap that power connection together and I'm ready to operate from out on the deck here.
Yeah, November Victor 5 Alpha. I worked you back in 1931, QSL.
Roger, roger. My paper log didn't pick up the dupe. Hi.
Okay, QSL. I think there was another park to park in there. Go ahead.
Sometimes it can still be a lot of fun to set up a portable antenna, especially if you're outside. But for other locations around the house, it's kind of nice to have a permanent place where you can just plug in your antenna on your HF rig and make a selection by the switch in the shack and you're ready to go. So I hope you enjoyed this video, maybe got some ideas out of this. 7-3, and thanks for watching. I'm Larry, WD0AKX Radio Ham Guy on YouTube.